My dear one, pay careful attention. This message found you for a reason, not by chance. Even time itself paused to guide you here. The heavens are attentive, and the Lord's voice is speaking to you at this very moment, because the revelation you're about to receive holds a truly unique promise.
Rejoice!
God declares your youth is being renewed. And this renewal isn't just a metaphor. It encompasses your spirit, your emotions, and will even be apparent. The persistent exhaustion is being turned back. The heavy burden you've borne for ages is now releasing. And your act of opening this at this precise time indicates that you've been divinely selected. Some people show signs of age due to the passage of years, while others age from the weight of their struggles. You, my dear, endured conflicts that were never intended to persist for so long. Nights without sleep, unshared sorrows, obligations that depleted your inner strength. Such experiences etched themselves onto your soul more profoundly than mere time ever could. But understand this precisely. God is declaring, I am not merely mending you, I am making you new. The fatigue visible in your gaze is about to give way to brightness. The lethargy in your physical form is about to be replaced with vigor. You will experience a sense of youthfulness because your spirit is being invigorated from its very core. If this truth resonates with your spirit, if you are ready to claim this profound renewal, then declare it now. Type Amen in the comments below, acknowledging this divine work in your life. Archangel Michael is close by you during this period, not as a remote combatant, but as a protector dedicated to your revitalization. He has been contending in unseen struggles on your behalf, repelling patterns of weariness, hindrance, and despondency. There were times when you felt beyond your years, inexplicably weary and utterly depleted. That wasn't a sign of frailty, it was spiritual conflict, and now the nature of the conflict is changing. Archangel Michael's sword is not directed at you, it is wielded on your behalf, severing the very things that sapped your life force. God proclaims, I am giving back what anxiety took. Prolonged pressure diminished your happiness. Duties overshadowed your laughter. Simply existing overshadowed truly living. But the Lord is infusing youthful vigor back into your very being. Not the superficial kind that quickly diminishes, but profound rejuvenation that springs from inner calm. Your appearance will show it. Your vitality will astound others. Some will inquire about the transformation, and you will understand it wasn't a commercial item, a new habit, or mere good fortune. It was heavenly renewal. Heed this. This holds significant weight. The adversary attempted to persuade you that your finest moments were in the past. He murmured that growing old was unavoidable, that happiness was fleeting, and that power only diminishes. Yet God declares, I am not constrained by specific times. He is the one who reinvigorates strength like an eagle. He is the one who brings back the years the locusts devoured. This communication confirms you are stepping into a period where vitality pours back into you. Archangel Michael is bringing to mind a potent truth. Youth isn't solely about how you look, it's about inner power. When your spirit is refreshed, your words gain impact. Your demeanor becomes more effortless. Your self-assurance returns, free from conceit. People will once again find comfort in your presence. Young ones will gravitate towards your happiness. Chances will recognize your vigor. This isn't self-admiration, it's spiritual harmony. God states there's a specific reason you're receiving this now. You are emerging from an extended period of internal weariness. There were times when optimism seemed deferred, aspirations felt put off, and laughter came at a high cost. But heaven proclaims this You will not bring the burdens of the past into your future. Renewal isn't happening slowly at this juncture, it's being sped up. What you believed would require years, God is condensing into a brief time frame. Do not brush this off as mere fantasy. Do not explain it away with logic. When God rejuvenates, he often begins subtly. Inner calm returns, slumber becomes profound, anxiety's hold weakens. Then, unexpectedly, you observe your reflection looks unfamiliar. Your bearing alters, your smile comes more readily. This is the hallmark of heavenly revitalization. Archangel Michael is securing this declaration with safeguarding. The very anxieties that attempted to resurface will be impeded. The same influences that depleted you will no longer have entry. God is instructing you on how to preserve your vigor without remorse. You have permission to take breaks. You have permission to grin. You have permission to experience youthfulness once more, because this happiness originates from the Lord. And it is your source of power. If you're ready to let go of the old and step into this divine happiness, affirm it with me. In the comments, write, "My youthful spirit is restored." Please know that every seed you plant in this mission will grow into a torch that shines in someone else's darkness. Giving to this work through the link in the description or the pinned comment, whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our exclusive community, does not go to a channel. Your actions are supporting a divine mission to save lost souls. Heaven moves through willing voices, but it grows through hearts that are kind. This is what I say over you now. Each gift you give is like a stream of living water that flows into the life of someone who needs healing. Give, and it will be given to you, is not just a verse for Jesus, it is a living promise that shapes your future. Allow me to invite you now with a simple act of faith. Come into this moment with purpose, with honesty, and with hope. The money you give today is not a donation. The act of spiritual obedience that lets your heavens open is what opens them. Let go of your seed and see what God brings back into your life. Us heed this closely. Not everyone will comprehend this transformation. Some individuals are content with your former self, the exhausted one, the overly generous one, the constantly accessible one. But God states, "I am renewing you for my honor, not for their ease." You will appear more youthful because your inner self is unburdened. You will feel more youthful because apprehension is losing its hold. You will live more youthfully because your life's aim is being rekindled. This is merely the start. What God is revealing extends far beyond outward looks. It affects your future, your divine purpose, and your lifespan. Heaven hasn't finished with you yet. There's still joy to express, affection to encounter, and tasks that demand your revitalized power. Keep this truth within your heart. Allow it to take root, for what follows will clarify how this renewal progresses and the reasons it was necessary. Now, my specially chosen one, take a moment and allow this reality to permeate your inner being. What is occurring within you at this very moment is neither accidental nor merely heightened emotion. This is a sacred transformation unfolding incrementally. God doesn't rejuvenate in the manner the world perceives it. He doesn't begin with your reflection. He commences within the deepest recesses of your soul, a place untouched by time, yet where anxiety has resided for too long. And this is precisely where the turnaround has already commenced. There were periods when you felt life was advancing too rapidly for you to manage. Obligations accumulated. Anticipations became more burdensome, and gradually, without conscious awareness, your happiness became something you deferred. You promised yourself, "I'll relax later. I'll grin later. I'll truly live later. But later constantly receded. God observed this and declares, now enough. The postponement is over. The pressure is being released. You are not behind schedule. You are perfectly timed for renewal. Archangel Michael has been designated to guard the gateway of your vigor. His appearance in this communication is not metaphorical. He is guaranteeing that what God reinstates cannot be taken from you again. For the reality is, some of what made you weary wasn't physical, it was spiritual conflict. You endured unspoken struggles. You bore emotional burdens unaided. You remained steadfast for others while silently crumbling within. Such fortitude came at a price, but God states, I am compensating you with revitalization. Listen closely to this. Youthfulness is being reinstated because optimism is being brought back. The instant hope reappears, your physical self reacts, your respiration shifts, your slumber becomes more profound, your thoughts grow gentler. While science may not label it a marvel, heaven certainly does. The Lord's delight begins to flow once more like oil, and oil lessens resistance. It facilitates easy movement. It alleviates tension. That is why you will experience a sense of being unburdened. That is why your vigor will return effortlessly. A few of you have been silently questioning God. Why do I feel older than my years? And God responds, today, it is because you bore burdens that were not meant for you. You carried the suffering of others. You endured familial demands. You took on expectations without hesitation, but God is now removing that load. The instant it is released, your stance shifts, your expression softens, your spirit finds relief once more. That is renewal actively at work. Archangel Michael is also severing detrimental emotional bonds that deplete your life force. There were discussions that left you drained, settings that extracted from you, connections that consumed your strength without reciprocating. God isn't doing this to separate you. He is doing it to safeguard you. Youthfulness cannot thrive where vitality is continuously lost. Now, pay close attention, for this is significant. God isn't bringing back your youth so you can pursue former times. He is renewing it so you can step into what lies ahead with vigor. There are future tasks that demand sharpness of mind, self-assurance, and endurance. There are individuals you will motivate merely by your presence. When they observe you, they won't perceive fatigue, they will see tranquility. They won't perceive age, they will see vitality. If this communication is already igniting something within you, pause right now and indicate your affirmation. Liking this video signifies you accept what God is bestowing, protects, and will activate the flow of God's favor in your life. Share it with someone who has felt depleted and overlooked. This, for sharing this prophetic word, will activate the anointing and share that breakthrough with their network. Because this message isn't solely for you. And if this platform has been nurturing your soul, ensure you are subscribed and part of this expanding community. Subscribing will activate God's prophetic promise and alignment in your life. This is how the message continues to reach those who need most. As this awakening grows inside you, know that helping with this mission is not a joke. It is a sign from God. You can support this work through the link in the description or the pinned comment, whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our exclusive community. By doing so, you become part of Jesus' plan to save souls who are still stuck in fog. Every seed turns into light that fights against darkness. If you water others, you will be watered yourself, Jesus says. This is not history, it is a living promise about your future. Come into this moment with faith and a plan. What God has already planned for your life can be unlocked through your giving. Exagod says, I am also instructing you on how to preserve what I reinstate. Youthfulness endures where thankfulness resides. Vigor persists where serenity is safeguarded. You will observe yourself declining without remorse. You will cease excessive explanations. You will opt for rest without needing to apologize. These are not minor alterations. They are indicators of maturity combined with youth. This is equilibrium, and heaven takes pleasure in it. Archangel Michael wishes you to understand that the adversary will attempt to sow seeds of uncertainty. You might think nothing has altered. However, renewal frequently commences imperceptibly before becoming apparent. Seeds initially develop beneath the soil. Do not evaluate this period by what you visually perceive today. Assess it by what you inwardly feel changing. Your enthusiasm for living will resurface. Your inquisitiveness will be reawakened. Your laughter will feel spontaneous once more. Healing is also occurring within your recollections. Some of you aged emotionally due to unaddressed incidents, unspoken words, unmourned losses, and buried frustrations. God is tenderly engaging with those areas now, not to reignite old hurts, but to bring segments to a conclusion. Finality brings youthfulness. Serenity replenishes vigor. Absolution unburdens the spirit. Before this message delves further, remain with me. The upcoming content will elucidate why this renewal is occurring so abruptly and what you must cautiously avoid during this delicate period. Persist. This is where all elements converge, and you will desire to hear this segment, my cherished one. The phase you are now entering is hallowed ground. This isn't merely a continuation of renewal, it is the fundamental reason for it. God never revitalizes an individual without an underlying intention. He doesn't turn back the clock for amusement. He brings back youthfulness when there are uncompleted tasks, unmanifested splendor, and deferred outcomes that must now materialize. This is why the change feels abrupt. Heaven anticipated the opportune moment, and now the opportunity is presented. There's a truth many fail to grasp. Youthfulness is linked to foresight. When clarity of purpose diminishes, the spirit rapidly ages. When expectation is delayed, the heart becomes exhausted, and that weariness manifests universally. God states your perception was assaulted, not your destiny. The adversary sought to persuade you that having aspirations was immature, that anticipating more was unwise, that your opportune time had elapsed. But today, God announces, your foresight is vibrant once more, and when clarity of purpose reappears, vigor naturally ensues. Archangel Michael is currently overseeing your mental faculties. He is safeguarding you from antiquated ways of thinking that sought to prematurely age you. Habits such as excessive rumination, self-reproach, past regrets, and perpetual comparison. These elements deplete vitality. They strip vibrancy from the spirit. But heaven is revising your internal conversation. You will perceive your thoughts becoming more tranquil, more distinct, more optimistic. This inner calm is a significant indication that youth is being fundamentally reinstated. Some of you are noticing unexplained physical fatigue dissipating. Others feel an emotional lightness, as if a weighty burden was shed during supplication or slumber. This isn't arbitrary. God is remedying the weariness accumulated in your nervous system. Anxiety resided within your physical self for an undue duration. But the Lord is now adjusting you. He states, I am granting you repose that ordinary sleep alone could not provide. This renewal is also linked to your sense of self. You lost sight of your true nature while striving to be all things for others. You became reliable, accountable, resilient, but you ceased to be unrestrained. God is reinstating liberty to you. The liberty to appreciate simple pleasures. The liberty to laugh without remorse. The liberty to feel vibrant once more. This emancipation poses a threat to the adversary because a cheerful spirit is difficult to manipulate. Archangel Michael reminds you that your struggles are not resurfacing. What previously depleted you will not gain entry again unless you permit it. God is refining your keen insight. You will swiftly perceive when something is amiss. You will no longer compel relationships that demand too great a price. This sagacity safeguards your revitalization. Now grasp this precisely. Renewal doesn't imply that life will cease to present difficulties. It signifies that challenges will no longer overwhelm you. You will recuperate more swiftly. You will rebound with greater vigor. You will not remain emotionally subdued as you once did. That fortitude is a hallmark of rejuvenated youth. Heaven refers to it as strength enveloped in tranquility. A sacred allure is also being emanated. Individuals will be drawn to your vitality, not through your effort, but because you radiate distinctively. This radiance isn't arrogance. It is spiritual synchronicity. When your inner self harmonizes with God's cadence, your whole essence mirrors a chord. Some will inquire about the shift. Others will feel motivated simply by your proximity. This is a wordless form of service. God says, I am bringing back your youth because I entrust you with impact. The once more. Impact doesn't always manifest as public forums or large gatherings. Sometimes it's a single conversation, a single demeanor, a single life affected. Your reinvigorated vitality will serve as a testament to those who are weary of existence. Through you, they will witness that God continues to refresh, continues to mend, continues to reinstate. This juncture also carries a duty. Do not hurry. Do not compare. Do not subject yourself to settings that glorify exhaustion. Fiercely guard your inner calm. What God is accomplishing is valuable. Treat it accordingly. This isn't the period to demonstrate your worth. This is the period to accept. Archangel Michael is sealing this stage with heavenly power. He announces that patterns of emotional wariness are shattered. You will not reenact previous behaviors. You will not revert to a state of mere survival. You are entering into enduring happiness. And now, as this declaration takes root in your spirit, respond with belief. If this message resonates personally with you, a special blessing, Code 948, has just been activated over your life, and before this current continues, heed this sacred summons. If this message is nourishing your spirit, it is because someone chose to contribute so God's word could reach you. I hear the Lord proclaim, those who provide for others will themselves be provided for. This platform functions as a conduit, delivering vitality to exhausted hearts globally. When you contribute via Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are supplying oil for the lamp so its illumination doesn't cease. I pronounce blessings over every offering made here. Your compliance will return to you in abundance, pressed down, shaken together, and overflowing. Do not defer what God is inspiring. Act now and bring forth the reward. Remain receptive, because what comes next will disclose how to consistently live in this revitalized youth without losing it once more. My cherished one, now that renewal has been bestowed, God desires to instruct you on how to inhabit it. For what heaven freely grants must be managed judiciously. Many accept revitalization, yet only a select few learn to safeguard it. This is the juncture where seasoned wisdom converges with youth, and where your period becomes enduring rather than transient. God declares, I am not merely passing through, I am abiding with you. A transformation is occurring in how you will react to life. Previously, everything seemed pressing. Every communication demanded your focus. Every difficulty felt like a crisis, and that perpetual vigilance prematurely aged your spirit. But now God is decelerating your internal pace. You will observe that circumstances, which once incapacitated you, no longer disturb you in the same manner. This tranquility isn't aloofness, it is command. Youthfulness spontaneously emerges where apprehension no longer dictates responses. Archangel Michael is leading you towards an insight that feels intuitive. You will instinctively know what to participate in and what to disregard. Not everything merits your vigor. Not every viewpoint necessitates your reply. Not every conflict is yours to undertake. This understanding is an element of your rejuvenation. When needless struggles are circumvented, power is conserved. When power is conserved, youthfulness persists. God is also reordering your schedule. You once dedicated your prime hours to anxiety and residual time to repose. That sequence is now being inverted. You will commence honoring your physique, your slumber, and your emotional boundaries without embarrassment. This is sacred attunement. The body responds rapidly when it perceives security. Your nervous system is recognizing that it no longer needs to remain in a state of constant alert. A few of you will observe ingrained behaviors gently receding. Excessive work, ceaseless rumination, seeking others' approval, emotional indulgence in food, incessant digital engagement. These served as strategies to cope with depletion. As revitalization takes hold, you will no longer require them. They will release their hold without coercion. That is the manner in which divine transformation operates. It doesn't exert pressure, it substitutes. Archangel Michael is also fortifying your personal limits. Boundaries are not partitions, they are access points. They determine what comes in and what goes out. In earlier times, you permitted excessive access due to a fear of losing individuals. God states that what is genuinely intended for you will honor your boundaries. This realization will liberate you. The more inner calm you safeguard, the more youthful your spirit remains. Another phenomenon is occurring subtly. God is bringing back a sense of lightheartedness to your spirit. Not childishness, but buoyancy. You will once again relish experiences without dissecting them. You will laugh without fretting over its sound. You will encounter instances of happiness that feel unprompted. These experiences are curative. Sacred texts state, "A cheerful heart is good medicine," and heaven is administering that remedy daily. You might also perceive a rekindled inquisitiveness about existence. Fresh concepts, novel pursuits, new artistic impulses may begin to surface. This isn't deviation, it is a reawakening. Inventiveness is an indicator of inner youthfulness. God is energizing aspects of yourself that were inactive because you were preoccupied with mere existence. Now that the mode of survival is concluding, self-expression can resurface. During this period, be cautious not to hasten results. Youthfulness prospers in the present moment, not under duress. Do not transform renewal into another chore to oversee. Allow it space. Permit it to develop organically. Some days will feel potent, others subtle. Both are acceptable. God is instructing you in cadence, not fervor. Archangel Michael is also protecting your utterances. You will now articulate things differently, less lament, more precision, fewer justifications, more resolute pronouncements. Words influence ambience, and your personal atmosphere is transforming. When your surroundings change, your physical self reacts. Tranquility shortens recuperation periods. Optimism expedites restoration. There will be instances when previous experiences attempt to resurface. Familiar apprehensions, past recollections, Ingrained self-doubts may gently reappear. Do not become alarmed. This doesn't signify a failure of renewal. It means those elements are losing their potency and making a last effort to maintain significance. Simply refrain from welcoming them. Recognize their existence and nevertheless opt for serenity. That decision affirms your revitalization. God says, I am instructing you on how to find pleasure in my presence once more, not merely to rely on me for an extended duration. Your connection with God was centered on sustenance. You supplicated because you required assistance. Now you will pray because you delight in His company. This alteration alone brings back years to the spirit. Affection devoid of desperation is invigorating. This period will also usher in more wholesome relationships. Individuals who share your rhythm, discussions that invigorate rather than exhaust, experiences that feel reciprocal. God isn't isolating you. He is purifying your social sphere. Youthfulness thrives in secure companionship. As this communication progresses, a crucial topic must be tackled next. How to navigate the sudden goodwill and focus that frequently accompanies revitalization. Because when God brings renewal, people observe, and not everyone who notices comprehends. What follows will assist you in remaining stable while advancing. Continue with this progression. You are not merely being refreshed, you are being solidified. My beloved, as renewal becomes apparent, God desires to ready you for something many are unprepared for, the responses of others. When youthfulness returns, when tranquility pervades you, when your vitality changes, people perceive it, even if they cannot articulate why. This is where discernment is essential. For not every reaction you encounter will stem from comprehension. Some will originate from esteem, some from inquisitiveness, and some from unease. God states, do not permit their reactions to obscure your path. There will be individuals who knew you during your period of exhaustion. They recalled the version of you who was perpetually accessible, constantly elaborating, always bearing burdens. When they witness you as more unburdened, serene, and self-assured, it might disquiet them. Not because you are acting incorrectly, but because transformation highlights what remained unaltered in others. This is why God is reinforcing your sense of self. Now you no longer require validation to be complete. Archangel Michael stands alongside you during times when quietness will convey more than words. You will feel less obliged to vindicate yourself. You will not debate your evolution. You will not persuade others of your recovery. Tranquility doesn't proclaim its arrival, it manifests. Those destined to comprehend will adapt. Those who cannot will gradually withdraw without contention. This is sacred arrangement. God is also instructing you not to diminish yourself for the comfort of others. In former times, you subdued your happiness when it seemed too prominent. You lessened your self-assurance to avoid being misinterpreted. But the Lord declares, I did not revitalize you so you would conceal yourself. Modesty doesn't equate to being unseen. You can possess both tenderness and fortitude simultaneously. You can be compassionate and still decline. This equilibrium maintains your youthfulness. A subtle inclination accompanies renewal, the temptation to push yourself too far once more. When you feel improved, you might believe you can accomplish more, assist more, empathize more, but God is issuing a warning here. Just because you possess the ability doesn't imply you ought to. Renewal isn't an invitation to revert to past behaviors. It's a chance to live uniquely, safeguard your reserves, preserve your tranquility, and respect your boundaries. Archangel Michael is reaffirming this reality. Personal limits serve as spiritual safeguards. Each instance you decline what depletes you. You affirm what nurtures you. Every time you opt for repose, you collaborate with heaven. You are not acting selfishly, you are being compliant. God is gratified when you attend to what he has revitalized. A few of you will observe your perceptive ability regarding others rapidly enhancing. You will sense motives before words are uttered. You will instinctively know when a connection is invigorating or depleting. Trust this intuition. This isn't censure, it is sagacity. Youthfulness persists where insight guides. Disregarding your internal cues is what previously aged you. Heeding them will maintain your refreshed state. God is also altering your perception of achievement. Previously, accomplishment meant enduring the day, fulfilling obligations, and not disintegrating. But now, achievement appears as nightly tranquility, morning happiness, and daily congruence. This fresh interpretation transforms everything. When success is gauged by serenity, comparison loses its influence. When comparison ceases, the spirit finds greater ease. A further dimension of renewal is occurring subtly your rapport with time. You no longer feel pursued by it. You no longer dread falling behind schedule. God states, I am reclaiming your designated period. What seemed postponed was being safeguarded. What seemed vanished is being restored in an altered guise. You are not tardy, you are ready. That insight alone reinstates self-assurance and youthfulness. Archangel Michael is also shielding you from retrospective longing that draws you to the past. It is acceptable to recall, but not to reside there. The past educated you, but it is not your dwelling. God is initiating something fresh, and it necessitates forward attention. The future stretching before you is less burdensome than the past behind you. Safeguard it without apprehension. You might also experience a newfound courage in your supplications. You will inquire with clarity. You will articulate with sincerity. You will cease apologizing for your aspirations. God embraces this. Childlike belief is daring, and daring belief is youthful. The Lord rejoices when you approach him without pretense, without apprehension, without pre-scripted phrases. This profound connection deeply invigorates the spirit. Be mindful that agitation might attempt to mask itself as a chance. Not every presented opening is divinely ordained. Some pathways lead back to depletion. Halt before making a commitment. Supplicate before assenting. Grant yourself authorization to defer. God is not in haste, and neither should you be. Serenity serves as your affirmation. As you persist in this revitalization, a beautiful transformation commences. You become a haven for others without forfeiting your own self. Your presence offers solace instead of depletion. Your words mend instead of bearing weight. This is enduring impact. This is wisdom enveloped in youthfulness. What follows will be vital, as God is about to discuss navigating instances when former apprehensions unexpectedly re-emerge. This does not signify a setback. It indicates more profound restoration. Remain receptive. Stay firmly rooted. The finest is yet to materialize, and you are learning how to preserve your completeness while advancing. My cherished one, we now delve into a more profound aspect of this path, because renewal does not obliterate recollection instantly. Occasionally, just as you start to regain your vigor, a long-held apprehension surfaces abruptly. A familiar self-doubt murmurs. A past event reappears without notice. This doesn't imply regression. God states this isn't a reversion, it is an emancipation. What emerges now is surfacing to permanently depart. There were instances in your history that influenced your self-preservation. Setbacks instilled prudence. Deprivation taught you moderation. Exclusion taught you quietness. These behaviors once safeguarded you. but they also kept you shielded. Protected hearts endure, but they don't retain their youthfulness indefinitely. God is tenderly relaxing those protective mechanisms now, not to expose you to peril, but to liberate you from perpetual alertness. Serenity cannot reside where apprehension keeps a constant vigil. Archangel Michael is assisting you in facing these lingering past influences without being overcome by them. You will perceive a difference this time. When apprehension arises, it doesn't seize control as it once did. When uncertainty emerges, it doesn't persist for as long. That signifies advancement. That signifies restoration. The sway fear once held over you is dissipating, and with it, the emotional burden that prematurely aged you. God is instructing you in a fresh reaction. Rather than combatively confronting apprehension, you will calmly recognize it and opt for reliance nonetheless. This decision holds potency. Each time you select trust, your nervous system registers security, and when the body experiences safety, it renews itself. This is why internal healing frequently manifests physically. Your physical self has been awaiting authorization to repose. There might also be times when you fear the loss of this renewal. You might ponder, what if this isn't permanent? Listen to God distinctly. What I institute, I uphold. This revitalization isn't delicate, it is resolute. You are not traversing precarious footing. You are standing on stable terrain. The adversary desires you to be concerned about upkeep, so you never completely savor the blessing. Reject that falsehood. Pleasure is an aspect of compliance. Archangel Michael is reminding you that attentive watchfulness has been superseded by conscious perception. Consciousness is serene. Vigilance is strained. You are no longer searching for hazards everywhere. You are learning to inhabit the present. Presence rejuvenates because it fully immerses you in the current instant. God is blessing rather than replaying what has already transpired. God is also mending how you regard yourself during vulnerability. Previously, a single moment of despondency led you to doubt everything. A solitary day of fatigue made you feel as though you were faltering once more. And now you will react with self-compassion. You will take breaks without disgrace. You will pause without culpability. This benevolence towards yourself is hallowed. It reflects God's treatment of you. As this transformation intensifies, you might perceive your supplications becoming less complex, less apprehension, more reliance, fewer elaborations, more attentiveness. This straightforwardness is an indication of seasoned wisdom and youthfulness collaborating. You are no longer attempting to sway God. You are engaging in intimate fellowship with Him. Connection revitalizes more swiftly than ceremonial observance. Now, pause here briefly. If this message resonates with you, assist it in reaching others who are silently wary. Like this video, to indicate your affirmation of God's work. Share it with someone who feels depleted but is unsure how to seek assistance. For sharing this prophetic word will activate the anointing and share that breakthrough with their network. And if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel and become part of this expanding spiritual community, because what is manifesting here isn't happenstance. It is a current intended to invigorate many. God is also fortifying your expression. You will articulate sooner instead of suppressing emotions. You will communicate your requirements without fearing you are a nuisance. This candor prevents emotional accumulation, which formerly aged you internally. When executed with sincerity and composure, communication is curative. Archangel Michael stands watch when familiar stimuli emerge. He is ensuring they do not lead to a recurrence of previous patterns. What once overcame you will now traverse without harm. You possess a renewed resilience, not toughened, but stable. A serene self-assurance is developing within you, not boisterous, not protective, simply unwavering. This conviction is profoundly youthful because it doesn't depend on validation. It stems from congruence. When you are in harmony, you are not depleted by contrasts or rivalry. You simply exist. God desires you to understand this distinctly. You are permitted to savor steadfastness. You are permitted to feel content without anticipating adversity. Tranquility isn't a lull preceding disorder, it is the customary state. Allow that reality to take root before this message proceeds. Remain attentive. What comes next will disclose how God employs your revitalized youth, not solely for your benefit, but as a benediction that extends externally in unforeseen ways. Persist. This subsequent segment interweaves all elements, and you will be pleased you remained engaged. My cherished one, as renewal establishes itself profoundly within you, God now discloses how this revitalization is intended to radiate outward. What He has accomplished in you isn't meant to remain confined. It will impact others organically, without exertion, without striving, simply by virtue of the person you are becoming. This is why your youth is being reinstated not solely to invigorate you, but to render you a vibrant testament to what God can achieve when an individual permits Him to completely mend them. A subtle influence is developing within you. It doesn't declare itself, yet it is perceptible. Individuals will begin to confide in you unexpectedly. They will divulge matters they haven't vocalized previously. This isn't because you possess all solutions, but because your demeanor instills security. Security rejuvenates individuals, and security emanates from someone who is inwardly serene, God states. I am fashioning you into a sanctuary for fatigued spirits. Archangel Michael is enveloping you with sacred safeguarding as this impact expands. Influence devoid of protection depletes, but influence shielded by heaven amplifies without exacting a cost from you. You will observe that even when you impart emotionally, you don't feel drained as you once did. That is because you are no longer contributing from a state of exhaustion. You are contributing from abundance. Abundance doesn't deplete, it refills. God is also instructing you on the distinction between obligation and divine task. Previously, you felt accountable for remedying, rescuing, and supporting others. That sense of duty prematurely aged you. Now you will perceive when something is a commission from God and when it is merely a weight that isn't yours to bear. This insight is crucial. Youthfulness persists where accountability aligns with purpose. You will also cultivate a fresh tenderness towards others. Not a leniency that condones disrespect, but an empathy that comprehends suffering without internalizing it. This equilibrium maintains the tenderness of your heart and the resilience of your spirit. Gentleness without limits depletes. Limits without gentleness harden. God is instructing you in both aspects. Another phenomenon is silently progressing. Your connection with happiness is being mended. For an extended period, delight felt perilous. Every cheerful moment carried the dread of cessation. You tensed yourself even while grinning, but God is removing that apprehension. You will laugh uninhibitedly once more. You will savor experiences without expecting letdown. This liberation is profoundly invigorating. Happiness devoid of apprehension rejuvenates the spirit for years. Archangel Michael is also aiding you in relinquishing the compulsion to dictate results. Oversight is draining. Reliance is invigorating. When you cease meticulous management of life, your physical self unwends, your intellect reposes, your spirit finds ease. God states, I am instructing you to confide in me with what you cannot foresee. That reliance is transforming into your power. You might start to perceive alterations in how you navigate your daily life. Less haste, fewer abrupt responses, more deliberate intermissions. These junctures are sacred. They enable you to remain linked to the current instant. Presence is where God encounters you. And each time you encounter God, revitalization flows in you. A profound restoration is occurring in how you perceive yourself in connection with others. You are no longer gauging your value by utility. You are no longer linking affection to accomplishment. This transformation is immense. When love is no longer merited, the spirit finds repose. When the spirit reposes, youthfulness flourishes. God is also re-establishing your capacity to accept. You excelled at offering but felt awkward accepting. Praise made you self-conscious. Assistance caused you discomfort. Nurturing felt foreign. But now you will permit others to invest in you without remorse. Acceptance isn't frailty, it is modesty, and modesty preserves a youthful heart. Archangel Michael reminds you that power doesn't consistently manifest as resilience. Sometimes it appears as ceasing. Sometimes it appears as inquiring. Sometimes it appears as prioritizing yourself without explanation. Heaven endorses these decisions. You are not lagging by taking breaks. You are maintaining congruence. As this external emanation persists, some individuals may misinterpret your tranquility. They might believe you have grown remote. In reality, you have become focused. You are no longer dispersed by the anticipations of others. You are collected within yourself. God states, I am summoning you inward so you can proceed outward with precision. There will also be instances of profound appreciation that emerge without warning. You will feel thankful not merely for your possessions, but for what you endured. Thankfulness confirms restoration. It reveres the path taken without reigniting past hurts. This appreciation will solidify your revitalization. Be cognizant of this. Not every chance that accompanies impact is intended for acceptance. God will lead you tenderly. Follow serenity, not compulsion. The appropriate openings will feel stable, not hurried. When something jeopardizes your inner calm, its price is too high. As this message proceeds, the subsequent revelation will tackle a profound reality. How God is reinstating not merely your current state, but also reclaiming lost periods in unexpected ways. What you believed was squandered will be re-examined with intention. Remain receptive. The narrative isn't just carrying on. It is being revised with divine favor. My cherished one, we now reach a point that engages a very sensitive chord in your heart. The periods you believed were gone. God speaks with distinctness here, for many of your unspoken sorrows were tied to time. Time you felt eluded you. Time you spent anticipating, persevering, existing. Time you thought could never be recovered. But God states, nothing yielded to me is ever squandered. This reinstatement of youthfulness isn't solely about your current emotional state. It is also about how heaven is reclaiming what you believed was permanently vanished. There were periods when you experienced postponement, not due to disobedience, but because you were undergoing formation. You pondered why others advanced while you remained stationary. You scrutinized your progression. You doubted yourself, and gradually, remorse attempted to take hold. Remorse is burdensome, and it ages the spirit. But God is now alleviating that burden. He declares, I deferred your progress to cultivate you, not to deprive you. Archangel Michael serves as an attestation to this reality. He is aware of every struggle you endured during your waiting. He observed your choice of uprightness when quicker paths were accessible. He witnessed your maintenance of benevolence when resentment would have been simpler. Those decisions held significance. Heaven documented them. And now what necessitated years of preparation will begin to manifest with unexpected rapidity. This is why youthfulness is being reinstated, so you can move forward once more without collapsing. God is reclaiming time in a manner that seems almost unjust to prior experiences. Chances will align swiftly. Relationships will suddenly become clear. Opportunities will arise effortlessly. You will reflect and grasp that nothing was genuinely missed. You were merely approaching it from an alternative perspective. This comprehension alone mends profound disillusionment. Absolution is also occurring here, not solely forgiving others, but forgiving yourself. You held yourself responsible for lacking the knowledge you now possess. You assessed your past choices through the lucidity of today. But God states you were steadfast with the understanding you held at that time. Self-absolution reinstates purity, and purity is profoundly linked to youthfulness. When ignominy departs, radiance returns. Archangel Michael is also dismantling the falsehood that you are behind schedule. Heaven does not function according to human calendars. God's timing is deliberate, exact, and compassionate. What is significant isn't when it transpired, but how ready you are now. And you are more equipped than you comprehend. That readiness is what renders the upcoming period enduring, not hurried. You might perceive past recollections emerging, not with anguish, but with insight. This is divine recovery in action. God is examining those segments to mend how they concluded in your heart. He is not reopening old injuries. He is bringing them to a proper conclusion. Finality reinstates tranquility. Tranquility replenishes power. Power rejuvenates youth. A happiness is also arising from recognizing that you did not overlook your vocation. It awaited you. Purpose is unhurried. Calling does not diminish, it adjusts. God states, "What I instilled within you is still vibrant." This reality will reignite an enthusiasm you believed had vanished. You will commence envisioning again, but without compulsion. Aspirations grounded in serenity develop more rapidly. Archangel Michael is guarding you as grace escalates. Goodwill can be overpowering if it manifests before restoration. But you are now prepared. You will not be captivated by focus or depleted by chances. You will proceed with modesty and precision. This equilibrium keeps you centered as progress accumulates. Now, pause here and react with conviction. If this message echoes with your spirit, a special blessing, code 163, has just been activated, affirming heavenly acceleration and reclaimed time over your life. And if you believe God is reclaiming lost time and preparing you for a future beyond your wildest dreams, then type Amen below and witness this divine acceleration, and listen attentively, because this juncture also presents an invitation that directly stems from God's actions here. This message is reaching you because someone chose to collaborate with God's endeavor. I hear the Lord say, when you contribute to this flow, you become integral to every life it impacts. This platform exists to revitalize exhausted spirits, to bring illumination where time seemed squandered. When you give via Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal, the link is in the description, you are investing in reclaimed years for others. This is not charity, it is compliance. I release a blessing over every contributor. Now, may God increase your offering, restore your moments, and open opportunities you did not solicit. Act promptly. Heed the inspiration. Let your contribution speak volumes. As this develops, something even more profound is approaching next: how to maintain composure when progress accelerates, so that revitalized youth doesn't revert to exhaustion once more. Remain with this. The forthcoming insight will safeguard everything God has just reclaimed. My cherished one, as increased momentum starts to materialize around you, God now speaks with profound concern, because progress devoid of discernment can subtly re-establish depletion. This is where many falter, not due to an absence of belief, but because they overlook cadence. God states, "I am bringing back your youth," not assessing your stamina. This upcoming stage focuses on understanding how to advance without experiencing burnout once more. Divinely inspired acceleration feels distinct from worldly compulsion. Compulsion insists on rapidity. Acceleration fosters harmony. You will perceive that when something genuinely originates from God, it doesn't deprive you of tranquility, even when it extends your capacities. Serenity is the gauge. If serenity departs you, halt. That intermission isn't non-compliance, it is insight. Archangel Michael is positioned nearby during this period because progress draws focus and focus draws spiritual opposition. Not to halt your advance, but to divert you. Diversion often appears productive. Too many choices, too many solicitations, too many excellent concepts simultaneously. God states that not everything feasible ought to be executed. Presently, timing safeguards vigor. You are learning to proceed with deliberation instead of spontaneity. Previously, impulsion stemmed from apprehension, fear of being excluded, fear of lagging, fear of fading into obscurity. Now, deliberation originates from reliance. Reliance that what is designated for you will await. Reliance that you needn't pursue what God has already appointed. This reliance conserves your vitality and maintains your youthful spirit. A new connection is also developing between you and repose. Repose is no longer recuperation from breakdown, it is sustenance for development. You will rest prior to becoming fatigued. You will cease activity before you are depleted. This sagacity is uncommon and sacred. God takes pleasure in this change because it demonstrates your conviction that He can operate even when you take an interlude. Archangel Michael is also assisting you in identifying subtle indications early on. Physical tension, unprompted annoyance, a decline in pleasure from previously enjoyed activities. These are not shortcomings, they are warnings. Early reaction prevents more profound depletion. Disregarding them perpetuates previous patterns. You are now prepared to react judiciously. God is also reconfiguring your perception of output. Output formerly signified results. Now it means productiveness. Productiveness encompasses repose, happiness, connection, and serenity. You will no longer quantify your value by your daily achievements. You will quantify it by your sustained harmony. Harmony preserves your lightness. Lightness maintains your youthfulness. There might be instances when you feel inclined to demonstrate your revitalization to others, to showcase your improved state. Resist that impulse. Your existence will communicate more powerfully than your justification. Let constancy bear witness. Let serenity serve as your proof. God doesn't require you to publicize His work. He requires you to safeguard it. Archangel Michael is shielding you from comparisons during this intensified period. When progress commences, comparisons attempt to subtly reappear. You might observe others advancing more rapidly or distinctly. Recall this rapidity does not equate to triumph. Durability does. God isn't competing you against anyone. He is guiding you into a future tailored for you. You are also realizing that declining is not a hindrance. Occasionally, a refusal is precisely what maintains the potency of your affirmations. Every assent you now grant carries significance. Do not diminish it by over-obligating yourself. God values concentrated compliance more than fragmented zeal. A serene happiness will begin to settle within you as you comprehend you are no longer contending with time. You are collaborating with it. Days will feel more complete but not more burdensome. Nights will feel more tranquil. Mornings will arrive with less opposition. These are indications that your rhythm is in harmony with heaven. God is also instructing you to commemorate advancement without hastening completion. You formerly bypassed celebration because you were already concerned about what lay ahead. Now you will pause and express thanks to God for your journey thus far. Appreciation stabilizes development. It prevents striving. It reminds your spirit of your security. Archangel Michael is prepared for instances when excessive exertion attempts to resurface. You will sense a subtle internal warning before you proceed too far. Heed it. That inner restraint isn't apprehension, it is safeguarding. The more you respect it, the more potent it becomes. This period isn't about fervor, it's about steadfastness. Fervor dissipates quickly. Steadfastness constructs enduring value. God is more concerned with the duration you can navigate in happiness than the speed with which you can complete tasks. Youthfulness is maintained through cadence, not haste. As you settle into this consistent tempo, a profound transformation commences. Your life becomes foreseeable in the most desirable sense, predictably tranquil, predictably stable, predictably happy. That constancy is profoundly appealing and deeply consecrated. What follows will extend this even further, because God is about to discuss how revitalized youth impacts your future connections, choices, and enduring aspirations. This is where all elements start to coalesce. Remain receptive. You are not simply advancing, you are proceeding judiciously, my cherished one. My cherished one. As your existence adapts to this fresh cadence, God now directs your focus towards the future. He is molding through your revitalized youth. This pertains not solely to your current emotional state, but to the choices you will make in the coming days. Youthfulness reinstated by God refines insight. It dispels ambiguity. It bestows upon you the fortitude to opt differently than you previously did. And those selections will subtly dictate the trajectory of your life from this point forward. You will observe that your choice making is evolving. Previously, decisions were frequently made under duress, apprehension, or exigency. You decided swiftly simply to alleviate discomfort. But now there is an interval between the query and the response. It is the space where tranquility communicates. God states, I am instructing you to make choices from lucidity, not from depletion. This alone will spare you years of needless contention. Archangel Michael is present with you during moments of choice, assisting you in distinguishing what harmonizes with your reinvigorated life and what pertains to a former iteration of yourself. Certain alternatives that once thrilled you will now feel burdensome. Some routes that previously intimidated you will now feel serene. This isn't inconsistency, it is development. You are not becoming irresolute. You are becoming exact. Your revitalized youth is also impacting your perspective on future relationships. You are no longer drawn to fervor devoid of steadiness. Disorder no longer feels like ardor. You will seek regularity, sincerity, and emotional security. God states, I am purifying your aspirations so they no longer jeopardize your inner calm. This purification serves as a safeguard. It prevents you from reiterating patterns that previously depleted you. A self-assurance is developing within you that doesn't require incessant validation. You are no longer searching for omens everywhere. You are no longer doubting every move. This conviction isn't conceit, it is certainty. Certainty arises when your spirit trusts that God is directing you, even when all isn't yet distinct. Archangel Michael is also shielding you from impetuosity at this juncture. When youthfulness resurfaces, enthusiasm returns alongside it. You might feel eager to accelerate to witness quicker outcomes. But God states, let enthusiasm proceed with sagacity. Haste now could re-establish anxiety later. You are learning that deliberate compliance yields enduring tranquility. You might also discover yourself assessing enduring commitments. Professional trajectories, residential circumstances, daily habits, even aspirations may undergo a gentle examination. This isn't bewilderment, it is congruence. God is ensuring your future framework can sustain the happiness He has reinstated. There's no purpose in revitalized vigor if the underlying structure depletes it anew. There will be instances when familiar voices attempt to sway your choices. Voices of apprehension. Voices of individuals who knew your depleted self. Voices that advise caution when God is instructing faithfulness. This is where insight holds importance. Not every admonition is sagacity. Some warnings are apprehension disguised as solicitude. God's direction invariably brings tranquility, even when it challenges you. Now, pause with me briefly. If this message is benefiting you and maintaining your spiritual engagement, assist it in reaching others who are at comparable turning points. Like this video, to demonstrate your affirmation of God's actions. Share it with someone who is reconstructing their life after a period of depletion. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to this channel and become part of this expanding fellowship, because these messages are intended to accompany you, not merely to temporarily appear. God is also instructing you to strategize without apprehension. Planning formerly provoked fear because you were uncertain of your fortitude. Now, planning feels optimistic because you rely on your capabilities. Youthfulness reinstates assurance in what lies ahead. You no longer anticipate the future with dread. You prepare for it with optimism. Archangel Michael reminds you that insight isn't about flawlessness. You will not invariably select impeccably, and that is acceptable. What is significant is that you no longer forsake yourself in the course of events. You will adapt without disgrace. You will rectify without self-reproach. This self-benevolence preserves your integrity. A more profound perspective is now taking shape. Not merely objectives, but a mode of existence. A life where tranquility is paramount, where happiness is safeguarded, where repose is revered. This outlook will direct your choices more effectively than any external counsel. God is inscribing this vision upon your heart. You are also growing more discerning with your moments. Time is no longer something you squander to evade emotions. It is something you cherish because it embodies vitality. This cognizance alone will maintain your youthful spirit for years ahead. As this progresses, remain with me. What follows is profoundly intimate and potent. God is about to discuss enduring impact. What your revitalized youth is intended to construct beyond yourself, and how this period connects to something far more significant than the current instant. Persist. This next segment will integrate all elements, and you will not wish to miss it. My cherished one, God now tenderly raises your gaze beyond the immediate and discusses lasting influence. Not enduring influence as the world understands it, but as heaven perceives it. This revitalized youth isn't solely for your solace, your tranquility, or your recovery. It is also for what will persist long after specific periods conclude. God states, I am refreshing you because there is something through you that must persevere. For an extended period, mere existence monopolized your attention. When you are simply enduring, you cannot plan far ahead. You make decisions to navigate the day, not to mold the future. but the mode of survival has concluded. Now, foresight returns, and foresight inherently poses different inquiries. Not how do I manage, but what am I constructing? This transformation alone signals the entry into a fresh phase. Archangel Michael is present with you as God discusses influence. Influence doesn't always appear conspicuous or public. Sometimes it is quiet steadfastness. Sometimes it is your manner of appearing, your way of heeding, your reaction under duress. Individuals will recall how they felt in your vicinity long after they forget your words. Your reinstated tranquility will leave a lasting impression. God is also mending your conception of impact. You once held that influence demanded ceaseless production, perpetual accessibility, unremitting contribution, that conviction prematurely aged you. But God states that genuine influence emanates from completeness. When you are integrated, individuals are nurtured without you being exhausted. That is enduring impact. There is a potent significance to the timing of this revitalization. God did not reinstate you sooner because you were not yet prepared to bear what follows without forfeiting yourself. Now you are. Your mended insight, your personal limits, your cadence, all of it equips you to construct without depletion. Enduring impact forged in wariness crumbles. Enduring impact forged in serenity endures. Archangel Michael is also shielding your heart from the compulsion to render everything significant instantaneously. Enduring influence develops over time. You don't need to perceive the complete panorama now. Fidelity in minor, consecutive actions accumulate subtly. God states, do not disdain regularity. What appears unremarkable today might be the very element that molds the future. You might perceive a fresh aspiration to live purposefully. Your manner of communication, your treatment of others, your attention to your physical self, your stewardship of your moments. These are not arbitrary impulses. They are dormant instincts for lasting influence reawakening. Youthfulness reinstated by God instinctively desires to invest, not squander. You will feel less attracted to diversions that formerly satisfied emotional voids. God is also conceptualizing your perspective on errors. Previously, missteps felt expensive because you presumed time was limited. Now, errors feel informative. You learn, adapt, and advance without descending into disarray. This fortitude is essential for enduring effect. Individuals who construct lasting achievements are not those who never err, but those who recuperate without abandoning. Archangel Michael reminds you that lasting influence isn't forged through comparison. Gazing horizontally depletes attention. God is inviting you to gaze forward with modesty and conviction. There is space for your input. You are not tardy to the narrative. You arrived at the precise moment with the appropriate sagacity for the correct endeavor. There might be instances when the burden of accountability feels weighty once more, not because you are frail, but because what you bear holds significance. When that occurs, revert to the cadence God instructed you. Repose, exhale. You are no longer supporting it in solitude. Heaven is invested in what emanates through you. God is also readying you to serve as a model, not an anomaly. Your path will aid others in believing that restoration is attainable. Not because you are flawless, but because you are truthful. Truthful about the progression, truthful about the tempo, truthful about the divine favor needed. This genuineness grants individuals authorization to heal without dissembling. You will also perceive your supplications transforming once more. They become less about petitioning and more about harmonizing, less about deliverance and more about collaboration. God embraces this. Collaboration necessitates reliance, and reliance is an indication of seasoned wisdom, and youthfulness operating in concert. Archangel Michael is guaranteeing that haughtiness does not insinuate itself as impact expands. Modesty will now come instinctively to you, not compelled, because you recall your origins. Appreciation keeps you firmly rooted. Rooted individuals cultivate profound connections. Profound connections sustain enduring yield. A generational dimension also exists within God's actions. Some of what is being mended in you was subtly transmitted through ancestral lineages, habits of excessive labor, emotional restraint, self-abnegation without repose. By making different choices now, you are disrupting those patterns. That disruption is potent. It alters future realities you may never completely witness, and this communication approaches its concluding segment. Remain attentive. What follows isn't a termination, it is a confirmation. God is about to pronounce a concluding declaration over this entire expedition of renewal, youthfulness, and intention. This final instant will integrate all elements and unleash a benediction that affirms what heaven has already initiated. Continue with it. You are poised at a hallowed boundary. My dear one, this isn't a conclusion. This is an affirmation. What God has declared over you throughout this expedition is now being established within your spirit. Renewal has progressed from a pledge to an unfolding, and now from an unfolding to an enduring state. God states, "What I have revitalized, I will uphold." You are not reverting to life as it once was. You are advancing as an individual shaped by divine favor, sagacity, and reinvigorated power. This concluding instant is hallowed because God is not merely reinstating your youthfulness. He is reinstating your assurance in journeying with Him. There was a period when you profoundly mistrusted yourself. You questioned your judgment. You agonized over choices. You dreaded making an incorrect step. But now God is silencing that internal clamor. He states, "You perceive me more distinctly than you realize." Reliance is being reconstructed, not solely in God, but in the aspect of yourself that heeds, defers, and complies. Archangel Michael serves as an attestation to this sealing. He has shielded you through depletion, bewilderment, postponement, and revitalization. Now he stands, not with a blade poised for conflict, but with authority instituted for safeguarding. What once assailed your tranquility will no longer gain entry. Patterns of exhaustion are concluded. Patterns of self-mistrust are ruptured. You are not reverting to your former self. You are becoming the person you were always destined to be. God is also mending your self-perception in the reflection of time. You are no longer assessing existence by remorse or rivalry. You are assessing it by congruence, by serenity, by compliance. This transformation has reinstated honor to your conduct. You no longer hasten to validate anything. You no longer bear culpability for requiring repose. You live from completeness, not from mere subsistence. There will be future days that present difficulties, but they will not overwhelm you. There will be instances of ambiguity, but they will not unbalance you, because now you comprehend how to return to equilibrium. You comprehend how to take a break. You comprehend how to be attentive. That understanding is invaluable. That sagacity is youthful. That consistency is uncommon. God states, "I am gratified by how you permitted me to mend you." You did not become rigid. You did not desist. You stayed receptive even when it caused pain. And because of that receptiveness, your heart retained its tenderness. Tender hearts remain youthful. Tender hearts remain amenable to instruction. Tender hearts remain intimately connected to God. Archangel Michael proclaims that the forthcoming period of your life will feel less burdensome. Not because there will be an absence of accountability, but because you will no longer bear what was never your obligation. You will proceed with distinctness. You will repose without culpability. You will savor without apprehension. This is the outcome of renewal. Now, listen attentively to this. Do not undervalue the potency of steadfastness. Persist in choosing tranquility. Persist in revering repose. Persist in internal listening. You don't require profound alterations to remain revitalized. You require consistent cadences. God isn't seeking flawlessness. He is seeking attentiveness. As this affirmation concludes, voice your accord aloud. A special blessing, code 2049, is now activated, affirming revitalized youth, safeguarded tranquility, and enduring fortitude over your life. This message reached you because someone chose to collaborate with heaven. I hear the Lord say, those who bear the illumination must also shield the fire. This platform exists to refresh the exhausted, rouse the overlooked, and pronounce vitality where time seemed squandered. When you contribute via Super Thanks, become a member, or sow through PayPal, the link is in the description. You are not endorsing a platform. You are empowering a sacred undertaking. Your contribution becomes a voice to someone who nearly relinquished hope. I release a blessing over every giver. Now, may God amplify your compliance, reinstate what you offered, and accelerate serenity in your existence. Do not hesitate. Heed the inspiration. Contribute now, and let your offering resonate for future generations. Before we get to the end of this powerful story, let's take a moment to reflect on this deep truth. You did not find this message by accident. This is not a stroke of luck. It is a direct message from Archangel Michael to you. He's extending his hand and inviting you into a protected, high vibrational community where divine abundance is not just a hope, but a promise. This sacred principle is very simple, but it can change your whole life if you follow it. You won't just receive blessings, they will be multiplied and flow into every part of your life. By accepting this invitation right now, you are unlocking immediate, early access to powerful content and divine insights that are hidden from the general world. Now is your chance to enter a sacred space where you will receive spiritual guidance, unwavering support, and speedy progress toward your destiny. Do not let this sacred moment of destiny pass you by. Your breakthrough is waiting. Join Archangel Michael's inner circle immediately through the exclusive link in the description. This is how you guarantee you never miss the direct, personalized messages that are specifically meant to elevate and empower your life. If you desire to deepen your connection, the link is waiting for you in both the pinned comment and the description. And for those who feel called to amplify this work, a link to purchase the guided ebook is available, which is completely optional. But your presence, attention, and energy already mean the world. Take the step. Your abundance awaits.